Welcome to Crosswalk.
I don't know what you were doing.
I don't know, man. I think you guys got to own it and you just live it.
Yeah,
and that's
this
it.
Is not a high dollar operation.
This is Crosswalks.
You're right.
Welcome to Crosswalks. Another episode.
Episode number 2.
Oh, who knows what number it is?
Yeah,
like, it's 50.
Definitely not.
As far
50.
as it's like when you get your checkbook and they make it immediately at 1,000, so you're not writing 0001.
We actually started with episode 49.
Welcome to episode 49. Welcome to episode 49.
Right. What are we talking about today?
Oh man, today?
Yeah.
Man, we're talking about how awesome I am and how perfect and amazing everything I've ever done in my life is ever. It's the
complete opposite.
The opposite. What are we talking about today?
Mistakes and failures. That is right.
This is gonna be a long episode.
Yes, it probably is. That's just for you.
Oh,
Part 2 will be on me, and it'll be
man.
only about 8 minutes. So.
But we're gonna start, and you're gonna share. We're gonna share bourbon. So
we're talking about bourbon today.
So the glass is empty, all right?
Yep. So wow, that was aggressive. You want to start that over?
No,
there, big boy.
No, I don't know what to do about that. But I drank it, and for some reason, it went around the side, like lipped up like a surfer's wave, and went straight down the side of my beard.
First time drinking bourbon?
Do we keep that, or do we start over?
He says, "I'm tired of being here."
Yeah.
So keep going. Okay. Count to 5.
So I got an empty glass.
You got an empty glass.
And you're gonna put something in the empty glass.
I'm gonna pour you, since you couldn't figure out how to drink first. I'm gonna pour you.
It's an empty glass.
I am pouring you today.
Okay.
Eagle Rare.
Okay.
Okay.
Now Eagle Rare, you've got another bottle here, because there is
It's an aggressive pour.
That was an aggressive pour. This is going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
But you have 2 bottles here.
I do. I have Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
And actually, Buffalo Trace is the name of the distillery. They make Bland's Weller,
which you clearly are a fan of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a few bottles back there too. But yes, I do. I hoard it like it's.
And
then this is Eagle Rare.
And what's the difference?
A lot of people call this Eagle 10, right? Because this is aged. I think the age statement on this is 6-ish. I think they're saying
4 to 7 somewhere.
Yeah, so it's the same mash bill. Mm-hmm. Mash bill is.
Yeah, that mash bill is the grains, right? It's the level of what you have in each. Right?
That what goes in the barrel.
It's like the secret recipe.
Right, and then they age it, which is what gives bourbon its taste. So Eagle is aged 10 years. It's the same exact stuff when it goes in.
Yeah.
6 years, 10 years.
And there's a massive difference.
There is a huge difference.
So this is
They're
Buffalo
both good.
Trace here?
This is Buffalo Trace.
All right, so tell me what that tastes like. Give me some.
Buffalo Trace is it's sweet. It's got a little bit of sweet. To me, everyone tastes it differently. Yeah. I get a little hint of caramel, right? Okay. And then I get a little bit of cinnamon on mine, and then I get a little bit of oakiness from the barrel, which is one of the things that a bourbon has, right? Yeah. The wood from the barrel gives it the staves, so to speak, gives it the taste, right?
I love it.
And then the Eagle Rare. Mm-hmm. You get a lot more of that kind of oakiness.
And what's cool about bourbon is that there's this movement of the bourbon into and out of the staves, right? So the staves have such a big role in this. Like the mash bill is very, very important, right. But it's ultimately the greatest part of what you get is going to be from the staves. So this one is a 10-year, right? Which means that it's been. I mean, that's a lot longer time. For that same exact mash bill to spend in a barrel,
for all of that flavor to soak in, for all of it to take on all those complexities that they're trying.
And these are both kind of hard to find. So this is pretty cool. We're trying a rare.
Yes, most stores will get like a couple bottles of this every couple months, and they don't even put it on the counter. You have to ask them.
Ask for it.
Hey, man.
This particularly, you got to know a guy.
You can know anything back there, and they kind of look around, and you can only buy one bottle, right? So they're like, you can only have one. So if they have like different stuff.
Well, so let me try this one and see kind of what that feeling is. It definitely seems more intense than kind of what you were talking about with the Buffalo Traces. Oh yeah, man, and it gets even smoother. That's one of the cool parts about it. As it gets older, it does get smoother. We were talking to some of the guys that are the production guys about the difference between Weller and Weller 12.
Oh gosh, yes.
And there really is a massive difference.
Because this is like 4 years,
right,
versus 12 years,
right.
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 Yeah.
So, well, one of the things that I think is really interesting is about how bourbon is ultimately made, right? And there's obviously the mash bill is such a really important part of the process. So you would have 51% corn, and then it's kind of like you can do just about anything else with wheat or barley or rye, and people pick all these kind of different percentages of what they'd like to put in. All of that goes into to get cooked, and then it's all you add the yeast to it, and once that gets some time in it, a number of it's different at every distillery, right? How they do their processes, but like once that is all done, then it goes to the distillation, and there's you can single, you can double, you can triple distill. There's all kinds of different ways that those things happen, but every time one of those things happen, there's some sort of beautiful movement in that process, right? And to get to that moment, I just think about like some of the great stuff that you've got you've got in your bar here. Just to get to this point right here, there's a number of barrels that don't make it.
Oh, but can you imagine though? Like for somebody, somebody like oh gosh, I mean, even if you think about like Weller, how long it took them to perfect that,
Right. So even once they perfect it, there's still the imperfections that continue on.
Right. And the mistakes that were made along the way before they got to this finished product, Right. It's kind of like, so, I coach baseball, right?
Yep.
I mean, gosh, I'm so excited that we were able to salvage the baseball season.
That was crazy. I still don't know how that works.
I don't care right now. They're like playing in hazmat suit, whatever it is. Give me some baseball, right?
Look, you can tag me, but you have to be 6 feet away.
Right, but I coach my son, and I tell him, I was like, what, the guy who hits 3 out of 10 for every 10 at bats who gets 3 hits, you know what that guy is? He's a Hall of Famer.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And I mean, I think about, that's why I love baseball. My dad always said that baseball is a game of failures, right? There's not a single guy playing baseball who in one game didn't make a mistake.
That's right.
A pitch that he missed, that hit a grounder, he popped up. You see them slam their bats down and run. I got a late break off coming off of first base. My son just moved to open bases too, and he's like, it's
a whole new game.
It's a whole new game. He had a guy throw back to second, and he slid it on his stomach, and he's got this look on his face like, this is exactly what I thought this would feel like.
Right.
Comes back up.
Right.
But it's the same way, man. I started my own business back in 2013, and oh my gosh, man, the mistakes that I have made.
Yeah,
man. I mean, I never will forget the first client that was like, "You're fired." I mean, a client fires you, man, when I'm done because of a mistake that I made. Wow. Cost me real money, right? Like
right,
real money,
right?
Like, I just started my business, man, and I screwed this one up, right? And it's don't get me wrong. There's certain things that if you fail your first time, like skydiving,
right.
Right. At first you don't succeed. You don't try skydiving.
Or a greasy spot on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but gosh, man. But life is, man, failures, and so I tell my son all the time, and I guess I could take a lesson from this in business too. Look, okay, you threw a ball over the first baseman's head from third base. You didn't get back far enough on a ball, and it ate you up, and you weren't able to make the play. Like, look, it's about what happens next, right?
Right.
When he started pitching, man, his mom can't. I mean, as a coach, you're like, that's the loneliest place in the world to put a kid, right around the pitcher's mound, right? And my wife gets up, and she can't stand it, man. She paces. She's walking around.
She paces during the game?
She paces while he's pitching, not while he's doing anything else. The bases are loaded, with 2 outs, and Christian's at the plate, and she's sitting behind there watching it. But once he's on the mound, it's different, man. It's different. There's so many things that can go wrong, and it's a mental game, right? But I had a coach that was coaching him. This didn't come from me, but he said, "Christian, what's the most important pitch?" And Christian says, "I don't know, the 3-2 pitch. The first pitch is a strike, man.
Right.
First pitch strike changes the whole bet." He goes, "No, man, the next pitch. That's the most important pitch. The most important play in a baseball game, next play, right? You got on the Cubs hat, man. They were interviewing Chris Bryant during the COVID stuff, right? And Chris Bryant said, in the World Series, he had to last out of the World Series in 2016. Yeah. And he goes, what was going through everyone's mind? And he's like, don't hit it to me.
Right? Don't hit it. Please don't hit it to me.
And I mean, I'm sure you've had some failures. Right?
Yeah, man. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I'm never, no. I played baseball, a long time, talking a little bit about baseball and wearing my Cubbies hat. I played baseball, and I would always evaluate my game afterwards. I'd spend time in the car, and I'm going through every play, every strike, everything, places that I messed up. And I would just hold on to those. And I remember my mom, so sweet and so wonderful, would, and especially as a little kid, she'd be like, but don't you remember when you caught that out? And don't you remember when you stole second? And don't you remember when you were talking it up? Don't you remember? It was always that kind of thing. But the craziest thing, man, is even as I got older, I would sort of dwell on and hold on to those things so much that I would almost let those define my history. Sure. Those would be defining my narrative, man. And that kind of stuff is just so unhealthy.
Man.
What would it look like for us to think about, look, you can own those failures and not ignore them, but they don't have to take control over who you are and how you do things. And it was such a positive thing for me to think about the great things. I've messed up with my kids, I've messed up with my wife, I've messed up in my job, I've messed up all kinds of places. But if those are the things that define my story consistently,
right,
I'd be a really unfortunate person to be around.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like you and I talked about this before, like all the people in the Bible that have messed up that God used to do something. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, King David had a guy killed.
He what?
Yeah, man.
What?
Yeah. Why did he have the guy killed?
Because he wanted to
the man's wife.
Yeah, the guy's wife.
Right.
That's kind of messed up. Right. Well, I mean, but Moses was great, man. Moses
killed a guy too, didn't he?
Hold up.
Yeah,
That's
man.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember that. That went poorly. But like Paul, one of the greatest writers of all of our theology.
Yeah, man.
He was amazing. He was great from day one.
He was a bad dude, man.
He what?
No, he used to hunt Christians down.
Hunt
them down. Have them killed.
But killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying
can't be as bad as some of the stuff you've done. I hope not.
Oh. Well, no, I've never killed anyone, so there's that. But
he used them, right?
Yeah. I mean, just to think about, the way that Paul talks about those things and the way that, that God still used all of those people to do incredibly great things. The imperfections, that's the thing, man. Thinking a little bit more about that bourbon, it takes a long time to get there. And if you took, say, any one of these great bourbons that you've got here, and you tried it after 2 weeks, instead of 12 years, you would be like, this is trash.
this is gasoline.
Is awful.
Right?
This tastes terrible.
Yeah.
But it takes that time, and it takes those, and then once they get to that point, even when they pull that out, there's at least, 5 or 6 barrels of that didn't make the cut. They weren't the right ones, So it's a beautiful thing to think about that time that God is taking time with us, that God is moving us and changing us, and over time working us to be who God wants us to be. And along the way, we're going to make all kinds of mistakes, but they can't define you, because what defines you is who God tells you are, and you're a child of God. And I think that's That's the definition.
So it's like the whole let you get to define how the failure shaped you, right, into something better.
Right. Who tells you who you are? Do your failures, or does your Lord?
Right. Who obviously, right, sees a little bigger picture than that.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
So
I have on our list of things to talk about that we're cracking open the 12, right?
Yeah, that's not happening, man. That's a special occasion.
That'll be episode.
If we make it to 50. Make it to 50.
All right, so every one of these we got a challenge, right?
Yep.
So here's your challenge. Here's your challenge.
Okay.
Is to name those failures, kind of like we did.
Right.
So at home, name some of those failures. Name those places where you didn't do the right thing. Own it, and then think about how God can use that to make your life stronger, to make you stronger. Absolutely. Where does that drive you back? I've had conversations with guys that, with families, with couples even, that they've had these great failures, and what we've said is, how can that define your future successes?
Yeah.
How do you let those failures define your successes? Probably time to toast them, huh?
Let's do it, man.
All right, you're up this week. You're up this week.
So here's to failures.
Here's the failures.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Here's to the walk.
Here's to the walk.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
We walk together.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Episode 51.
Yeah, 53. I'm sure.
Whatever we call it.
All right.
All right.
See you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to the water.